a group of senators, including West Virginia's Joe Manchin and Jay Rockefeller, have introduced the Chemical Safety and Drinking Water Protection Act to prevent these kinds of spills from happening in the future. The bill would require inspections and cleanup plans for chemical storage plants, and the Senate could take it up as soon as this week. But the question remains, is it enough? Joining me now is the Democratic senator from West Virginia and author of the Senate Chemical Safety and Drinking Water Protection Act, Senator Joe Manchin. Senator, thanks so much for joining us on this incredibly important subject that does not get nearly enough national media attention.
It does, and thank you, Alex, for bringing it into the national spotlight.
Senator, here's my first question. We get reports every week, it seems, about increased dangers in the West Virginia water supply. Why, at this date, weeks after this spill first happened, do the men and women of West Virginia still not know definitively what is in their water supply?
I'm as frustrated and upset as everybody. I have a home there. My wife is still there. I'm there on weekends. We're in that affected area, and everybody has a right to be upset because I can tell you, we just don't have clear, definitive answers. I don't know whether everyone's scared to speak out because they're afraid everyone's going to get sued, and there's so many lawsuits going on, and everyone's being extra cautious. I called the CDC today, and I've been in contact from day one when this happened. CDC, EPA, they've been working with the governor and the state, and with that being said, I said, listen, guys, enough's enough. Where are we? Is everything below, in all the affected areas, are we below the 1 part per million? They said yes. That's what's determined safe consuming. You can consume it as a human. But then they went a little bit further because of an expected mother with the fetus, demands of a fetus and the growth of a fetus. It has extra precaution was being taken, and they want it non-detectable. Well, non-detectable can go clear down to 10 parts per billion, not million, but billion, which is 100 times more stringent than the 1 part per million, what they declared to be safe. And they're telling me most of all the entire system now falls within that. But if you can still smell it, then it's detectable. So that's concerning.
Senator, would you tell your wife to drink the water if she's down in the affected area?
Well, right now we are using the water normally. We're back to normal, and we're there. And she's there because we don't have any detection whatsoever. And I've seen the test, and the tests are at 10 parts per billion. And that's non-traceable, non-detectable. There are some areas of the affected areas, all the schools have been tested, but I would say this, that we need to continue to test those schools, need to continue to flush them out, we need to continue to make sure until it is non-detectable, and make sure the people see it and believe it. That's the hard thing we have right now. It's the communications. No one understands what's being said, who to believe, who not to believe, and after 4 weeks, we've lost all confidence.
Senator, I want to talk about what we're doing to make sure this doesn't happen again. And the Century Foundation was talking about West Virginia culture in and around regulation, and makes the point that this is the state that sued the EPA and issues a Friends of Coal license plates. Those are official West Virginia tags. And that culturally, West Virginians hate the kind of regulation that would have prevented this thing in the first place. Do you agree with that? And if so, or parallel to that, how is your bill going to change the landscape? That
is so unfair. I've sued the EPA because of their overreaching. Do you believe the state of West Virginia, in our industry of the coal that we produce the energy for this nation for over 100 years and give us the country we have today, do you believe we should be held at a different standard than other parts of mining, than other mining states around the country? That's all I said. Treat us as one of these wonderful 50 states that make up this beautiful union. You shouldn't be, and it's been awful what we've had to go through. Now, with that being said, they think we turn a blind eye, that we could care less. I don't want to drink bad water, and I sure don't want to smell bad air. We're fighting, and we've cleaned up the environment more in 2 decades than ever before. Even the president recognized that in his State of the Union speech. But they go right to this. No different than our friends in North Dakota. They just had a tanker, a train explode with 400,000 gallons of crude oil. We had friends in the Midwest now, 2 explosions of fertilizer factories. And it's just, these are things, when you're doing hard work and you're producing what the country is still needing, and you got to do everything you can to make sure the workers are safe and the environment's safe. Those things have to be done, and it can be done. So people that say that we throw caution to the wind, we don't. The bottom line is everybody thought that there were laws on the books, I guess, federal, that basically said that all above ground storage had to be inspected. Well, if it's non-hazmat or non-lethal piece, toxic, if you will, chemical, it doesn't have the same high priority, so it didn't come under the same regulations. This piece of legislation that we're introducing now, I've worked with Barbara Boxer, she's been very helpful on this, working with me, that basically says anything that you have above ground storage and definitely along any waterway and most definitely close to any intake for your drinking water has to be inspected. We have to know what's in there and how to handle it and what effect it has on humans. For 30-some years here, Alex, in this Congress, there's been the fighting between the political fighting that basically we don't even know over 80,000 chemicals what we have.
Yeah.
This is a wake-up call for the entire country. Let's get it done now.
Have you gotten any pushback from the industry in the state? I mean, regulation is a tricky subject. You have not. So they seem ready to accept.
Well, Alex, when we had the horrific mine tragedies, I didn't have any pushback. We did mine safety, and I said specifically this: if you can't mine the coal safe, if those miners, the greatest assets we have to our whole economy, if you will, is the people that do the work. If you can't go to work in the morning and come home safe, then we shouldn't do it. If it can't be done safe, don't do it. If we can't produce chemicals that we can control and keep safe and keep our environment safe, you shouldn't be making them. Now, that's about as simple as I can make it. And you've got to be tough here, but no, you don't even listen. You just got to do it. You want everybody's input, but we've got to make it safer. That plant needs to be torn down. It should never be there. It's time. It's an 80-year-old plant. It should be gone. The governor has said they're going to tear it down. I'm very proud of that. Let's get it out of there. Let's make sure that we inventory everything we have on the waterways, and not just in West Virginia, Alex. Every state, this should be a wake-up call for.
It is. I hope it is indeed. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, thank you for your efforts on this, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alex.